Shalom, beloved family. It's your girl Sophia Spiritual Light, and we're here with another research video. I After we got the list of the perfumes, um, and I was having a very difficult time locating mine. Of course, on the list is Geneva. So I thought I would look to see if there was a list that was in English so that I could easily figure out which one I could use, and the other ones I couldn't find. I got basically somebody for every day in my house pretty much. And so I really wanted to find the ones that we could use that would be helpful for us. So when I looked, I found a book. Actually, there's two books, um, but they're both by C.J.S. Thompson. I'm sorry. Um, and in the book, it lists the different perfumes for the planet and for the day, the scents. And so then I went looking for that information, and this is the information that I compiled for that. I have sent this to Brother Levi to compare with the information that he found, but I thought I would go ahead and put this out here so people can start doing their own research on the perfumes that they already have at home to see if they line up with anything, so on and so forth. And I'll give you an example of that I did at the end. So before we go on, all praise, glory, and honor be to the Most High, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the great I am, loving kindness, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Thank you for another day to labor in the vineyard, and we ask permission to speak with the angels for just a few minutes so that we can get a message that will allow us to be of better service to you and to the kingdom. We thank the Holy Mother for always being with us, and we acknowledge our older, wiser brother Yahushua for being the perfect example of how to both climb the tree of life and conquer the tree of death. And to the angels, we ask that you come and be with us. Give us some insight that will allow us to be of better service to the Most High and to the kingdom. All right, so let's just get into it. So, this is a list. I do have this in a PDF, and I will try to make a link and leave it in the description. Um, or put it on my website or something like that. But if you don't see it fast enough, just shoot me an email or message, and I'll send it to you. Um, but this I have it in a way you can just quickly screenshot it, and hopefully it's clear enough you can look at it later. So we're gonna go in order. So let's start with the sun. And so on here, you will see that some of the words are um, italicized, and the reason why I did that is because those are the words that I actually looked up on the website that I'll show you at the end um, to to find the fragrances that I found, so that you can take my word and go back and double check it for yourself. And the whole thing about this is the best person who will know what perfume you should wear is your guardian angel. So whatever one that you pick, you should definitely run it past your guardian angel. I of course always use my pendulum because it's easy. I'm an earthbound person, but if you happen to be a person who does not have to have a physical thing for everything, you can ask your guardian angel to reveal it to you or confirm it to you or whatever, in whatever way that you communicate with your guardian angel. I happen to use my pendulum. So um, for the sun, the main notes, and so one thing about perfumery, and I actually made this is so funny when Levi said, "Oh, I'm not a perfumer." My very first business um in college, when once I became an adult, right, 18, my very first business was I made lotions, soaps, body butters, and oils. Um, and I did that for a few years, but I actually stopped because I knew that the laws were written in such a way that if you didn't have insurance, it could be a problem. And so then I tried to get some insurance, and at the time, like 2003, if you were a small business like I was, and you just had a few clients or customers and you just wanted some insurance to cover yourself, they didn't have that. That wasn't an option. So I decided to stop that business and I made jewelry too. So I decided to stop that business, and I went into working on how the best way to navigate the business system is. So, um, actually, I had that business for a long time. I did a bunch of stuff. And anyway, long after that, I ended up getting my master's in business, and now, of course, I'm still stuck on my doctorate. But anyway, that's so. When he said we don't have any perfumers in the midst, I was like, "Gosh darn it! Why do I know all of this stuff?" So I already was familiar with the industry in general. So I say that to say this: when you're talking about perfumes, they're in terms of notes. And the reason why, or why I think the reason why talk about perfume in terms of notes, because really, when you have a blend that goes together, it sings. So it is the equivalent, or we can think of it as the equivalent in the spirit realm as a song. So just like you sing a song with your mouth and you have the melodious tones coming out of your mouth, or with an instrument, and it's the same thing with the scents. When you have a group of each note denotes a different tone of the fragrance, and when you put it all together, you have a song. You have a perfume. So, okay, that being said, let's move on. So the main notes for the sun, I want to zoom in a little bit. Okay. So the main notes for the sun are yellow amber, which most amber is yellow. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that, describing all of the things. I'll describe some of them because it's important to understand certain things. Yellow amber, musk, aloes wood, which is also known as oud. So when you look for aloe, okay, so I almost forgot one thing. These lists are directly from what the guy said in the book. And then what I did is I made it easy for our people to understand. Basically, I translated it into what what they call it now, the ones that they could. So some of them, like, I'll describe it as I go on. So anyway, aloes wood is also known as oud. Then balsam, laurel berries, gilly flowers, myrrh, and frankincense. And so gilly flowers is basically sweet flowers that shows up again in one of the other ones. So the other one, though, yeah, it could also be white flowers. So sweet white flowers, but sweet flowers in general. And when they say sweet flowers, they don't mean like by taste. They mean they have a sweet smell. It's the same. We'll get to it when we come to it. But sweet flowers, um, myrrh and frankincense. And so frankincense, I didn't put it on this one, but it's also known as olenium. Olenium. So if you type in frankincense, it'll come up with olenium, which is the same as frankincense. Okay. And so the perfume matches that I was able to locate was White Diamonds by Elizabeth Taylor, Abjar by the Spirit of Dubai, Dura by the Spirit of Dubai, and Socotra by the King's Palace Perfumery. Okay, and so for Shemesh, which is Sunday, you have Mastic, Musk, Gum of Benjamin, Styrax, which I did find Styrax, but I didn't. Um, it's not what I searched to get these fragrances. Labdanum, Amber, and Ammonicum. So as you can see, for Sunday and Shemesh, for the Sun and Shemesh, you have Amber and Musk that are sort of in common. So, which is why basically you could use these interchangeably. And so, the reason why I make the differentiation is because number one, he makes a differentiation, right? Um, and also, if you are using this for a magical purpose, maybe you need to contact the sun specifically, the sun realm specifically. You would want to wear something specific to the sun realm. If you're trying to if you're just trying to enhance your day, your sun day, then you could specifically look at some of these ones for Shemesh. But as you will see, there's some that work for multiple ones, like White Diamonds by Elizabeth Taylor comes up on both lists. There's another fragrance called Number 8 by Utopia. Um, there's Habanita Eau de Parfum by Molinard, and Letinesque Parfum by 06130. And so yeah, that's just what I found. And of course, like I said, check with your guardian angel, ask which one is best for you, so on and so forth. That's why there's multiple. I tried to get multiple ones the best that I could. As you'll see for Tuesday, that really I just could not find a multiple one for Mars, but for Nadim, there are some choices. So we'll get to that. Let's go on to the moon. I'm gonna try to make this video as short as I can. All right, let's go on to the moon. So for the moon, the fragrances you have are white poppy, frankincense, camphor, myrtle, and aloewood, which is oud. Now, I don't have any of these highlighted because I didn't really use them to find these fragrances. I sort of used them. So some of this was kind of like an intuitive process. I can't really describe it, but these are the ones that I was given and also confirmed with my guardian angels, of course, Sister Gigi and Haniel, that these were the ones that were the most accurate. But again, like I said, check with your guardian angels, whoever you communicate with, for to make sure that these will work for you. So the first one I found that is the most compatible is tobacco, and these some of them are in order of compatibility. Mostly, I try to put them in order of compatibility. And what do I mean by that? When I ask the pendulum, the ones that the pendulum swaying the hardest for, I tried to order them in that order. Okay. Um, some of them I did, and some of them I didn't because I couldn't remember by the time I got to it. Anyway, um, so we have Tobacco and Amber by colonization. Anyway, we have Come to Me Love Potion by Accentual Alchemy. We have Sacred Incense by Albacore Sacred Incense Albacore Almucadas by Alexis Attar. That's a long name, and it really is that long name. And so for Lanava or Monday, I can slide this back over now. We have the main notes are myrtle leaves, laurel leaves, and sweet flowers. So again, sweet flowers is not the same as gilly flowers because gilly flowers more refers to white flowers, and sweet flowers could be any sweet flowers. So the ones that and that's why I couldn't highlight any of them because I just had to look at the sweet flowers in the fragrances and see if some of the words lined up. It was This was an extremely difficult list to put together. Difficult in the sense of there's a lot of steps, and I can't tell you how I recreated them, but if you look at the fragrance and at the notes, you will see how I did it. Okay, so the first one for Lavana is the British Bouquet by Atkinson's. They have Fiona Hay by Santa Maria Novella, and they have Ankh by Scent of Time. And another thing about these is that you can look at the other scents that they have in their collections and see if they have something that you need. And I'll point that out when we get to another one of the scents. So for Mars, the key scents were that E4 Euphorbia, which I looked up as cactus. Don't get me started on that. They have bdellium, ammonic roots, hellebore, lodestone, and brimstone, right? Those are the main notes for Mars. And so the scent that I have, which had the cactus base, basically, is called Moon Glory by the Harmonist. And that was the only one that I could find that met the requirements for Mars specifically. All right. So for Tuesday, or for Madim, oh, I got all of the rest of them in the wrong order. Okay. So for Madim, we have um, sandalwood, red, white, and black. And that's how it was in the book. And I was like, is it red, white, and black sandalwood? Or anyway, so the way that I intuited that one is really I looked at the ingredients, and some of them were literally red, white, and black. And it had something red, something white, something black. And so anyway, weird process. Then they have sweet woods like aloe, which is oud, cypress, and balsam. And so by sweet woods, they mean good selling woods as opposed to bad smelling woods. And if you look at that book by C.J.S. Thompson, then you will understand that. I'm not going to get into all of that. That's a little bit too much. So I was able to find a bunch for Medine, which was good. I was very excited to see that. So we have Angelique Noir by Guerlain. We have Angel Share by Killian. We have Prayer by TRNP. And we have Sanctum by TRNP. All right, so for Mercury, um, we have mastic, we have frankincense, which I put here is the olibanum, and gilly flowers, which is sweet flowers, sweet white flowers, really. Um, so for those fragrances, I found 07738 by Vogue and Eau de Egyptienne by Cinq Mons. So for Wednesday or Cocav, we found Sweetwood Rinds. Um, get some coffee for you. Sweetwood rinds, cinnamon, cassia, laurel bark, mace, and sweet seeds. Now, again, sweet seeds is good smelling seeds. Um, anyway, they don't have a category for. They do, but then you will miss some because it's up for interpretation what a sweet smelling sweet is, as opposed to a bad smelling sweet. So sweet does not mean taste sweet. It means it smells good, as opposed to stuff that smells bad. Anyway, so for that, I found Holy by the New Jerusalem and Kadeen by Guerlain. And I think I spelled them differently. They might be different companies or they might be the same. It's just weird. When you get into fragrances, they do all kinds of weird stuff. Okay, so for Jupiter, the planet Jupiter, we have seeds of ash, and don't ask me what this is. There's an ash tree, but don't ask me how you get the seeds of the ash tree. That's not on the list. There's nowhere that is. But we do have oud, styrax, benjamin, and lapis lazuli. And lapis lazuli is where I found most of these. So the scents I found are oud wood by Tom Ford, which is not the best one. Okay. I did put that first, but it's not the best one is the last one. Lapis Lazuli by Baldi, and then you have Lapis Lazuli by Oliver Debano. All right, so yeah, I should have put these in a different order, but oud wood is the least accurate. Lapis lazuli, the last one is the first, should be the first. Okay, so for Thursday or Zedek, we have nutmeg, cloves, and they had sweet fruits. So they consider in perfumery a clove is a fruit of a tree. I had a hard time with that, right? And then citrus rind. So for Thursday, we have Oud Save the Queen by Atkinson's, and they have one for men called Oud Save the King. And then we have Hyatt by Kimmy Blending Magic. All right, so for Venus, we have Musk, Amber, Oud, Red Roses, and Red Coral. So the scent that most match that is White Diamonds by Elizabeth Taylor. And well, I'll go into that in a second. And then you have Divine Enfant by Etat Libre d'Ange. And then for Friday or Noga, you have roses, violets, sweet fruits, and flowers. That was a description. So again, you have White Diamonds by Elizabeth Taylor, Chanel Number 5 by Chanel, Taboo by Dana, and Arpege by Lanvin. And I just want to point out for Venus, yes, um, White Diamonds, Venus, and the Sun are have scents that work for both. Okay. Um and so I'll give you a little, if you saw my Haniel video, then you would understand this, but I'll just explain this real quick. Venus is the first planet in the sky before the sun, and it's the last planet in the sky after the sun. It's literally the alpha and the omega to the sun. So they are going to have very similar things, except Venus is going to be a little sweeter because it is it has that characteristic of love. So it's going to be even like the red roses. You throw the red roses in there. So that's the reason why that white diamonds comes up for both, because it's literally it's just the placement of the sun. They're very, very close. um Venus is very close to the sun, so they're gonna share some things, and since it's one of them. Okay, so for the last one, that's the one that I know people had an extremely difficult time. I looked, I could not find that word. I could not find it. I was like, no, this is, our people need to be able to use this information. So here's what I found. Um, well, here's what the angels gave me in this book by C.J.S. Thompson, because it's not me, definitely the angels. So we have black poppy, which is the one that I've found. Not black poppy, but poppy in general, which is different from white poppy, because I think white poppy is the flowers, the petals of the flower, and black poppy is actually the seeds of the poppy. Um, anyway, so we have henbane, man. Mandroga, lapis lazuli comes up again, myrrh, pepperwort, frankincense, which is olibanum, gum arabic, and sandalwood. So the ones that I found that work, that sort of meet these characteristics, especially the black poppy and the myrrh, and then I did the lapis lazuli separate and found that other one. We have Porpora Tianza by I think it's Porpora by Tiziana Terenzi. And then we have Lapis Philosophorum by Oliver Durbano. So that Oliver Durbano is probably a guy to look into as well, just like Atkinson's. And oh, and this is the other one you want to look into for Shabbatai. Um, I found Costus and Thuris herb. Don't ask me what either one of those are. I could not find those, not even to translate into something else. But um um somehow I ended up by with Courtney Ruby Diamond by KKW and Earth Taurus by CNR Create. So the reason why I'm glad that this is last, I can bring this up. CNR Create, if you're looking for a perfume for your zodiac sign, they have a whole collection of perfumes for both for zodiac signs and also for um, the element. So, like this one is Earth Taurus. So it's got the earth in Taurus. And then they have one for every single sign. So they have one for every sign, male and female. Then they have one that's literally like for the elements too. So CNR Create is definitely a company you might want to look into if you were interested in perfumes for the zodiac signs. Okay, so here's my example. And I wanted to give you, this is my grandmother's chart. Okay. And she always wore white diamonds. And so, as you can see, her sun is in the 10th house, which is crazy. The sun in the 10th house is a placement that you can only be given by your ancestors. And my grandmother has it. And my daughter actually has sun in the 10th house. So, this is like, anyway, when I saw this, I was just like completely overjoyed, because I was like, wow, they literally gave my daughter that placement. And my grandmother had that placement, and she was a very fine woman. But her fragrance that she would only wear, she didn't like perfume, much like me, just not into all of this stuff. She liked clothes and dressing and all of that, but perfume, no. So the perfume that she always wore was white diamonds. And as you can see on here, she was born on a Sunday. So let's look at the fragrance profile for White Diamond so you all can get an idea of how I did this. So this is the website that I went to. It's called Fragrantia Fragrantica, and it's I'll put a link to it, and it's also in the on the PDF if you're able to get it. And so and a lot of people are familiar with White Diamonds by Elizabeth Taylor, because a lot of grandmamas had it, right? And as you can see, why? It's for a son, they would have worn it to church. So now you have your answer on why all the grandmamas in the 60s and the 70s wore white diamonds, because they wore it to church. They didn't wear perfume every day to work. They didn't have those kind of jobs, but they wore it on Sunday when they went to church. So if you may, and now that I'm thinking about it, I think I do associate white diamonds with church, because they would have worn it to church and it would have been appropriate to wear it at that time. So somebody else can do the research on the marketing for that, because I have a feeling that um there's something about that. Oh, it came out in 91. So that I thought it came out way past 91. Okay, anyway, so in the 90s, dang, I might have what's that thing called? Um Mandela effect for this, because I thought it came out before this. All right, so this, see right here, they have the perfume pyramid. Anyway, I'm not even going to get into it, but let's look at the sun characteristics of the sun and Sunday and see what they have in common. So first off, we do see amber on here. It's in a base note. We also have musk here, which is in a base note. We don't have oud, right? But um, I don't know what balsam is exactly, right? Or laurel leaves, but I do see patchouli and oak moss, so that made me think of the laurel leaves. Gilly flowers, which is sweet white flowers, and you can see on the top list we have lily and neroli, which are both sweet white flowers. Um, there's no myrrh in this or frankincense, right? Actually, we see a lot of sweet white flowers. You have Egyptian tuberose, jasmine, naxaris. So I just like, wow, that's a lot of sweet flowers. And so, for Sunday, here we go. We don't have mastics, but we do have amber. We have musk. Um, um, yeah, we have amber and we have musk. So and they have gum of Benjamin. And I don't, they do have, no, there's no gum on this one. Um, and they have ammonicum. I don't know what that is either, or labdanum. I didn't know what that is, but I know I saw musk and I saw amber, and I was like, okay, this will probably work for Sunday as well. And we have our own, I have my own case study here. So this is the scent my grandmother wore. She was she was born under the sun. She was born on Sunday. She didn't wear any other perfume. People bought her perfume. She didn't wear them. She only wore this one. And basically she only wore it on Sunday. So, this is my case study. I can show you one that um let's look at one for Mercury. I'm a Cocovite. I'm going to show you the one that the spirit told me to get, and we'll just see. Gyptie. Here we go. This is the one that it was referred for me to get. Okay, so this is for Coca. This is for Mercury. This is for Mercury. Um, so let's see. We have mastic on here. We have frankincense, which is the olibanum. And we have sweet flowers, which is the lotus, rose, jasmine. So, and geranium is a sweet flower too, right? So that has all of the requirements for Mercury. And then if we're looking at Wednesday, what it does have, it doesn't have mace because it has mastic, right? Um, but it doesn't have cinnamon either. So that's why I said it doesn't really match for Wednesday particularly. Um, but it doesn't even have cinnamon. So yeah, this one doesn't particularly go for cinnamon. Let me show you the other one. And then I'm going to end this video. The one that's for Wednesday. Holy, the New Jerusalem. All right, this one is more for Wednesday. Um, and as you can see, they call this like an anointing oil. I think more so than a perfume. See, it's called anointing oil on the box, more so than a perfume. So that's kind of weird. But anyway, this one, it has Oh, sweet wood rinds. So you have the oh, and it also has acacia, which is on the list, and cinnamon, which is a sweet wood rind. Technically, why it didn't just say cinnamon, I don't know. Um, oh, cinnamon is on the list, and then it has mace, um, and sweet seeds. Um, which olive would technically, I consider olive to be a sweet seed, right? And then it has calamus. What I don't know what that is, but that made me think of something. So this is just an example of how I came to this. It's this oily notes. I don't even know what that why I would say oily notes. Let's look at the other one. This one's not as good of an example. I think the other one is Kadeen by Guerlain. All right. So because this is an actual perfume. All right. And you can see that this one actually just came out. Oh, it's a this is another thing. I look for the things that have been out the longest because I knew this stuff was like. Anyway, this is from the 1911 Cadena Classic, okay? So let's look at the notes. Again, not too many notes on here. Um, but how did I even get this? We have sweet seeds, which I in this case I took as the vanilla. This one doesn't have any of the acacia or the cinnamon or the sweet wood rinds, right? But it does have the gilly flowers, which I borrowed from Mercury, which is rose and jasmine and iris, lots of sweet flowers. Um, in the green notes, that made me think of the not the acacia, but the mace, because I don't know exactly what mace is, but made me think of green. So this is the other one that I found. Like I said, I did ask about these, but it's up to you to oh, this is a limited edition, but it might be some different ones. It's up to you to try and figure out which one. Again, talk to your guardian angel and ask them which one is going to be the best for you. This was just a quick video to present this research. I know I went on way too long. But again, this is all experiments. I'm just studying. And as I get a breakthrough on the research, I come and I bring it to you. And then you can do your own research, do your own searching, and talk to your angels and get your own answers. So, to the spirits who are here with us, you're invited to go in peace. To my beloved viewers, you're invited to be at peace. And always remember, the Most High is your peace. Shalom.